Wikipedia from its charter in 1988. The charter states that...
Why don't you read the 2017 one?
Which I...
Notice that every time you read something that makes them sound bad, they change dates. Forward or backward, it doesn't matter as long as it fits their whole bullshit.
I will. It's all in here. In 1988, the charter states that our struggle against the Jews is very great and very serious and calls for the eventual creation of Islamic State in Palestine in place of Israel and the Palestinian territories and the obliteration and dissolution of Israel. Mm-hmm. The actual article, which is known as Article 7, summarized on Wikipedia, talks about how they want to eradicate the Jews. Mm-hmm. The final quote of the actual article says, "The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews, killing the Jews, when the Jew will hide behind stones and trees. The stones and trees will say, 'O Muslims, O Abdullah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him.'
Yeah.
Only the Gar..."
This response says a lot. You don't react with disdain to what someone says or wrote if you believe he is equal to you. You just do it when you believe he is below you. You will find this disdain in people who believe they are smarter and better than others. It's a reaction most of us do when someone tells us that the little kid in the family or friends said something retarded. But the only reason to give the same reaction to a group or a race is if we look at them as brain-damaged who can't act and talk like us, which means we are racist towards them.
Cod tree event.
Tim, everybody's heard this 100 times. What's the point? Why?
The real question is, why are you afraid of him reading this? You have heard it 1,000,000 times, but you and I know that most of the youth who demonstrate for Hamas have not heard it. Why are you afraid they will hear it? Why are you trying to hide it?
I guess I would dispute that party platforms really mean anything.
I mean,
who wants to bet that he won't say that about a party in the United States and Europe? If a party here says it wants to erase Muslims, blacks, Mexicans, etc., he won't say that what they say means nothing. He will shout that everyone should listen to them because they mean what they say. Did what the Nazi Party said before the Holocaust mean nothing? Or is it only when people you consider below you? The racism in this video just oozes from you.
It's that whatever, commitment the top level political guys made in that charter was a fig leaf. They're willing to go into Israel and butcher and maim and rape and kidnap Israelis.
Sorry. There is no such thing as okay, but for murder, rape, abuse, etc. It came out of your mouth so naturally it's amazing. I want to hear you say okay, but to a mass shooting at a school in America, or to mass murder in Syria or some other country. But it wouldn't have come out of your mouth in such a situation. Is it only when Israelis are murdered? Now your anti-Semitism is coming out.
For all of them to sell out the Palestinians.
No Arab country has ever stood with the people you are calling Palestinians. Why don't you tell everyone the truth that to this day Egypt does not allow them to work in Egypt, is unwilling to provide them with water, electricity, and food, and the same on the Jordanian side? In every Arab country, people called Palestinians who have been living in these countries for several generations are still considered second-class citizens. They are not allowed to hold high positions or own land. Are these the countries you think really support the Palestinians? The only support they give them is that they will not be in their country, especially after this people, Palestinians, tried to make a revolution in Jordan and overthrow the king after the Jordanians gave them land and a place to live.
And Hamas, and I'm sorry, I have here somewhere the quote, where the Hamas spokesman says, "This is the greatest emergency. These Abraham Accords. We are being completely sold out and left behind here."
And this is a reason to murder, rape, burn lives, and kidnap children, women, old people, and babies. Are you the mouthpiece of Hamas? It only showed that Arab countries are not interested in them, and therefore they did it to make their own people what they call martyrs, to make people like you shout and thus force the Arab countries to shout too. Look back and see that no Arab countries started shouting until the Americans did. They did it because they think this is what you want and not because they support or care about Gaza and the people there.
Later, they broke out of their pen and
I've heard people call Gaza an open prison or under occupation, but you call it Pan? I'm sure you know what animals are found in Pan. The genus Pan consists of two extant species, the chimpanzee and the bonobo. These two apes. Your racism comes out again.
killed all these people in order to force this crisis, in order to try to undermine those accords.
Did you notice that he constantly makes excuses for what Hamas did? Just like you would do to a little kid who doesn't understand what he's doing. And you want to tell me he's not a racist?
So you're saying that, look, they're genocidal, fine, they obviously butchered civilians, as I said in my introduction here.
And again, what the hell is genocide? Fine. Are you okay in the head? Something is not quite right with you. If I tell this to the psychiatrists, he will hospitalize me. Do you talk about it like it's nothing special because you don't encounter them as human beings? Or because the murdered are Israeli and it doesn't bother you?
An extended family member of mine was abducted and killed by Hamas in this thing when they did what they did.
Even when you talk about your family, you have no heart. You talk about it as if someone just said a bad word to them and that's why they said it. I hope there is no family connection between me and you. No normal person would want someone like you as part of their family.
They're perfectly willing to butcher civilians, obviously. But
No, you can't say, but after saying something like that, I don't understand how people can sit and hear this without reacting immediately. Are you so desensitized that what he says doesn't bother you? Where have we come when someone can talk about something that is close to what happened in the Holocaust in its brutality and immediately after that say but, and no one responds?